All right. Hello, hello. We're going to go ahead and get started. Coach Kevin here with you. And wow, December 31st, 2020. What a year it's been. 2020 has been definitely quite the year for a lot of people. It's been pretty tragic for some, but it's been pretty awesome for others. Hopefully, for you guys, it's been awesome. And hopefully, we'll make 2021 an even much better year. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys and share a couple things. For those of you who are watching this as a recording or you're with us for the very first time, want to share with you before we get started with the actual content of the day. Want to get started by sharing with you and telling you that we have a Facebook group that coincides with this meetup group, and it actually has the very same name. I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. So that is the name of the meetup group, and it's also the name of the Facebook group. And the way you can find us is you can go into your own Facebook account, go into search Facebook, and type in "I want to be really rich," and I do not want to apologize for it, or do not apologize for it, and it will come up in your search, and you can ask to join. The other thing you can do is just go straight to facebook.com/groups/ I want to be really rich is one word. Now, why might you want to join the group? A few different reasons. Reason number one, if we have any special announcements that relate to the group, this is where it's going to get posted. I don't actually, and somebody asked me this the other day, I don't pay that much attention to Meetup other than as a way to find you guys. In other words, I don't look at the messages that come back and forth through Meetup. I hop in every once in a while. What I've pretty much done is set things on autopilot over there. And then as people join, they know that there are meetings that we have and they can come. So if you've been trying to reach me through Meetup, that's not the best way to do it. The better way to do it is through Coach Kevin Sparks at gmail.com. That's Coach Kevin Sparks at gmail.com. It's just my name. And I would ask, though, if you reach out to me, it's not for the purpose of spamming me. Okay. Most of the time when somebody reaches out to me through there, it's for the purpose of discussing possibly becoming a coaching client, either a group coaching client or a one-on-one coaching client. And the reason for that is we have this page here in Facebook, this group, where we can interact. And we also have daily, our Monday through Friday, 45 minutes or so where we can interact. So that's the place where you can ask me most of the questions you need to ask or make the comments. It's just predominantly if you want to reach out, because many people over time decide that they really want that additional help, and that's the way to find me. Okay. The next thing I want to share with you is what we're in the process of going through right now. We finished up a little while ago a book written by an author named Leslie Householder called Hidden Treasures. And that particular book, in relationship to manifesting money and wealth in our lives, it teaches in nice, I'd say pretty good depth, but also very understandable way. Some people write in such a way it's tough to understand, in a way that pretty much everybody who's read it says, now I get it. Okay. She wrote about the laws of the universe that govern receiving more money and wealth in your life. Okay. A lot of people know about the law of attraction, but what they don't realize is that is actually a subsidiary law to the law of vibration. And there's 6 additional laws besides that one, and maybe even an 8th law that she talks about. But these laws govern our ability to attract money and wealth in our life. And if we don't understand that they exist and how they work, how can we actually utilize them to our advantage? If we don't understand how they work, they're still working, like the law of gravity. We may not understand how the law of gravity works, but that doesn't keep it from working. If an infant or toddler climbs up onto a chair next to, let's say, the kitchen counter or the big kitchen island, and gets up on the island and starts crawling over to the other side and doesn't stop, the law of gravity is going to take over and the baby is going to fall and hurt itself, regardless of if it understood the law of gravity or not. The law of gravity just is, and it does its job, which is to keep us from floating off the earth, basically. And because of the law of gravity working all the time, just because we don't know or understand everything about how it works, doesn't mean that we don't have consequences when we do something that's in opposition to the results that we want. I am absolutely sure that baby or toddler had no desire to go fall off the other side. If that baby or toddler understood the law of gravity, or at least understood the basics of it, hey, that if I go up and I try and go off this way without climbing down something or somebody picking me up, I'm going to fall and hurt myself. The baby could then make a choice, but the baby had no choice, but the baby still suffered the consequence. Unfortunately, when it comes to manifesting money and wealth in our lives, most of us are like that baby on the counter. We're trying to manifest things and we roll off the counter and hurt ourselves, and we get upset. We say the law of attraction doesn't work. Well, the law of attraction, which again really is the law of vibration, always works. It never stops. It can be overcome in some ways by utilizing it in conjunction with other laws, and that's why you need to know what they are. In other words, why is a multi-thousand-pound hunk of metal, tons and tons of metal, able to fly through the sky and with people in it and then land at a destination and without crashing? Well, because there are additional laws to the law of gravity, like the law of aerodynamics and whatnot, that allow the plane to fly. So once we understood those laws, we were able to make airplanes and jets and whatnot. Until we understood the laws, we weren't very good at moving people through the air. Okay. Now that we understand it, we're pretty good at it. And over time, we'll probably get better and better and better. That's the way things are working as we go through these classes. When I say classes, these meetups together, is I'm sharing with you to the best of my ability, based upon my experience and knowledge and training and my results that I've had in my life. I'm sharing the best I can how these things work. And I'm using materials sometimes that are written by other people, and most of the time material that they allow me to use for free to share with you. That way I can get it to you for free and you can follow along and have your own copies. So the next thing we moved into is this book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. I just typed into Google Power of Your Subconscious Mind PDF. I have a Kindle version. I have an Audible version. I think I have a paperback version somewhere. I've read the book maybe 3 or 4 times in my lifetime, but it's been several years now since I have. But I felt inspired after finishing up the previous work that this was the next thing to do, because, okay, now we understand the laws and how they work, but now we've got to deal with something that also either can help us or hurt us, which is our subconscious mind, which can become our greatest friend or our worst enemy when it comes to manifesting money and wealth in our lives the way we'd like it to. Our subconscious mind works based upon what it receives as programming. And what do I mean by that? If something is impressed upon the subconscious mind, either eventually it accepts it through repetition or through a strong emotional experience, and it is successfully planted in the subconscious mind. It doesn't matter if what that is good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is. And the subconscious mind works to carry out that program. So let's say, for instance, you're trying to, manifest more money, earn additional income in your life, and you seem to be stuck in doing that. I can absolutely guarantee you that there's a program in your subconscious mind right now that is running in opposition to what it is you actually want to receive. And unless we actually get that reprogrammed so that your subconscious mind is in agreement with what it is you want to manifest in your life, your subconscious mind is going to work on sabotaging your efforts. So that's why we decided to go into this. This book is written by Joseph Murphy. I think it came around in the 1930s when I've published this. Maybe it was a little bit later. It's not a super old book, but it's been around for a while. And Joseph Murphy was one of the most foremost authorities on how the subconscious works. And this is a work that other people that study the subconscious mind often read. So I thought this would be good for us. When you understand how it works, you can do something about it. If you don't understand how it works, then you're at the mercy of your current programming, and whatever you allow to get into your subconscious mind is what's going to be. And if you don't know how to program it the way you want it to be programmed and how to avoid putting things into it that you don't want, you won't get the results that you're looking for. So we want you to get the results you're looking for. I typed the Power of Your Subconscious Mind PDF into Google, and one of the first results that popped up after the ads was this one right here, www.logoscenter.org. And then you see downloads, the Power of Your, and I'm sure it goes Subconscious Mind PDF. And of course, that's what it says right here, Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Logos Center. I don't know why these guys have it there, okay? There's multiple places I could have got it from. I happen to like this copy. So this is the one I went for as I went through and looked at different pages where you could get it. This one was the most simple because all you did was click on, so this is all you have to do if you want a copy, just click on the link. I don't get anything for you doing it, okay? But what pops up afterwards is the actual book. Now, I'm not going to scroll to the beginning. We're on page 94 right now. But what was kind of cool about it is I clicked the link. It brought me right to the book. Didn't have to put in name, email, or anything like that. And then what I immediately did is went ahead and downloaded the book. So now I have a copy, and you guys can get a copy for whatever device you like to read from, whether it be your laptop or your tablet or your phone or whatever. So I recommend that you go get a copy of it so that you can go back and follow along. Oh, speaking of the Facebook group, we put, and maybe I didn't say that, but we put the recordings of each day, as long as I remember to hit the record button. See right there, the 29th, today's the 30th, so there's the recording, and the 28th and so forth. We've been doing it since November 5th. You will find that you can get access to the different Zoom meetings that we've had. So if you like one and you want to go review it, great. Or if you're trying to get caught up on what it is that we're doing, you can read, of course, but if you want the commentary and the discussion that we have also included, you can go into the video. So that's how you can get the information. That's how you can make it as valuable to yourself as possible. And what I'm going to do right now in a moment is I'm going to start reading where we left off. I'll share commentary where I feel it's appropriate and might be helpful to you guys. And then somewhere around 10, 15 minutes before we're going to end, I will open this up for discussion. Be your opportunity to share whatever it is that you want to share, ask whatever questions you want to ask, okay? But up until that point, if you type into chat or anything like that, I'm not going to be paying any attention to that. Again, I'll leave that 10, 15 minutes as we finish up for you guys to share your comments and questions. So I'm going to take a quick sip of water here, and we're going to get rolling with this. Okay. How to attract the money you need. Many years ago, I met excuse me. Many years ago, I met a man in Australia who told me that his fondest dream was to become a physician. He was taking science classes and doing brilliantly, but he had no way to pay for medical school. His parents were both dead. To support himself, he cleaned doctors' offices in the local hospital's professional building. I explained to him that a seed planted in the soil attracts to itself everything it needs for its proper unfolding. All he had to do was take a lesson from the seed and plant the required idea in his subconscious mind. Every night, as this young man went to sleep, he visualized a medical diploma with his name in big, bold letters. He found it easy to create a sharp, detailed image of the diploma. Part of his job was to dust and polish the framed diplomas hanging on the walls of the doctor's offices, and he studied them as he cleaned them. He persisted with this visualization technique every night for about 4 months. Then one of the doctors whose office he cleaned asked if he would like to become a physician's assistant. The doctor paid for him to attend a training program where he learned a wide variety of medical skills, then gave him a job as his assistant. He was so impressed with the young man's brilliance and determination that he later helped him through medical school. Today, this young man is a prominent doctor in Montreal, Canada. Okay, so let's go back and let's take this apart a little bit. So what did this person visualize? Did he visualize the work he needed to do? Did he visualize the process he needed to go through to receive what he wanted? In other words, was he focused on how? How am I going to do this? Why do I want to set a goal if I don't know how to get it? What if I don't have the money? Blah, 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 blah. No, he did not do that. Okay. What he did is he found something that represented him already being a doctor, and that he visualized that thing that was representative of him already being a doctor, he visualized having it. So it was the diploma, right? Every night as this young man went to sleep, he visualized a medical diploma with his name in big, bold letters. He didn't go to bed trying to think about how he was going to make more money so he could pay to become a doctor. I'm sure he thought about that from time to time, but that was not his visualization. His visualization was a medical diploma with his name in big, bold letters, which was representative of him already being a doctor. You don't get the diploma and become a doctor later. You get the diploma after you pass school, and you're now given the diploma, which says you are a doctor. And he found it easy to create a sharp, detailed image of the diploma. I've told you guys a lot of times that what you ought to do for what it is that you want is picture something representative of it past actually receiving it, right? So if let's take this, if you want to become a real estate investor, when you picture yourself, when you picture yourself trying to come up with the money to learn how to do it and all those things, no, you wouldn't do that. What you would do is picture yourself receiving a check for having flipped a house or receiving rental payments because you have rental property. Okay. You would picture it at already happening, not picturing yourself in the process of learning how to become a real estate investor. You already are a real estate investor, and God and the law of attraction in the universe will put you in a position to know what to do and give you the resources necessary to actually become that real estate investor. And it says here, he persisted with this visualization technique every night for about 4 months. You guys come to me and you're like, hey, I tried it, done it. It's been a few days. It's been a couple of weeks. Hey, when I made my reprogramming of my subconscious mind, I went through a process that took about 2.5 months before I saw a big result, but the result was huge. My income jumped from $5,000 to $6,000 a month, all the way up to averaging $50,000 a month. It took about 2.5 months doing that. And I dedicated daily about 3 hours a day to doing that. So it helped, excuse me, it helped me reprogram my subconscious mind in order to be able to receive what I wanted to receive. But I didn't do it for 3 days. I didn't do it for 2 weeks. I did it day after day after day until I was guided and directed by God and the universe to take the actions required to receive what it was that I wanted in my life. So I can totally relate to this person who wanted to become the doctor. That's not what I wanted to become. And he was given the opportunity to become a physician's assistant. Sometimes you guys are like, well, an opportunity popped up that's kind of like what I was asking for, but it's not everything I wanted. Hey, if an opportunity unfolds for you and you feel intuitively through inspiration, revelation, intuition, you feel that it's a move that you ought to take it, because this move that this person took, becoming the physician's assistant, allowed this person to show the doctor, how much he wanted to be a doctor. And that doctor made his own choice to pay for and help this man become a doctor. The young man's success came because he had learned the law of attraction. He discovered how to use his subconscious mind the right way. This involved making use of an age-old law that says, having clearly seen the end, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. Let me repeat that. Having clearly seen the end, That was that diploma, okay? For this gentleman, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. The end in this case was to become a physician. He was able to imagine, see, and feel the reality of being a doctor. He lived with the idea, he sustained it, nourished it, and loved it. At last, through his visualization, the idea penetrated the layers of his subconscious mind. It became a conviction. That conviction then attracted to him everything that was needed for the fulfillment of his dream. So that is your purpose. Your purpose is to decide what you want. And then your purpose is to get your subconscious mind to accept instead of reject it, to be in harmony with what it is that you want versus in opposition to what you want. And once you're successful at doing that, that conviction then attracted to him everything that was needed for the fulfillment of his dream. Why some people do not get a raise in pay. Let us say you work for a large corporation. You believe that you're underpaid. You resent that fact. You resent the fact that you are not appreciated by your employers. You constantly mull over your conviction that you deserve more money and greater recognition. By setting yourself in mental opposition to your employer, you're subconsciously severing your ties with that organization. You're setting a process in motion. Then one day your superior tells you, we have to let you go. In a real sense, you dismissed yourself. Your superior was simply acting as the instrument through which your own negative mental state was confirmed. This is an example of how the law of action, and this is an example of the law of action and reaction. The action is your thought, and the reaction is the response of your subconscious mind. Obstacles and impediments on the pathway to riches. From time to time, you've probably heard someone say, anybody who makes a lot of money has to be some kind of crook. The person who talks and thinks this way is usually suffering from a financial illness. Maybe he is bitter and envious of former friends who have been more successful and now have greater resources. If so, this person is creating his own difficulties. Entertaining negative thoughts about those friends and condemning their wealth causes prosperity and wealth to flee. Would you stay with someone who condemns you? Of course not. Neither will wealth. This person is chasing away the thing he is praying for. He is praying in two ways. On the one hand, he is saying, I wish wealth would flow to me now. But in the next breath, he is saying that that fellow's wealth is a dirty, evil thing. This contradiction is a signpost on the road to poverty and misery. Always make it a special point to rejoice in the wealth of another person. Protect your investments. If you're seeking guidance regarding investments, or if you're worried about your stocks or bonds, quietly claim, infinite intelligence governs and watches over all my financial transactions. Whatsoever I do shall prosper. If you do this frequently with perfect faith and confidence, you will find that you will be guided to make wise investments. Moreover, you will be protected from loss because you will be prompted to sell any risky securities or holdings before any loss accrues to you. You cannot get something for nothing. In large stores, the management hires guards and store detectives to keep people from stealing. Every day they catch a number of people trying to get something for nothing. Anyone who does such a thing is steeped in a mental atmosphere of lack and limitation. In trying to steal from others, they are robbing themselves of peace, harmony, faith, honesty, integrity, goodwill, and confidence. Furthermore, their messages to their subconscious minds draw them all manner of loss of character, prestige, social status, and peace of mind. These people do not understand how their minds work. They lack faith in the source of supply. If only they would mentally call on the powers of their subconscious mind and claim that they are guided to their true expression, they would find work and abundance. Then, by honesty, integrity, and perseverance, they would become a credit to themselves and to society at large. Your constant supply of money, The path to freedom, comfort, and constant supply of needed wealth lies in recognizing the powers of your subconscious mind and the creative power of your thought or mental image. Accept the abundant life in your own mind. Your mental acceptance and expectancy of wealth has its own mathematics and mechanics of expression. As you enter into the mood of opulence, all things for the abundant life will come to pass. Let this be your daily affirmation. Write it in your heart. I am one with the infinite riches of my subconscious mind. It is my right to be rich, happy, and successful. Money flows to me freely, copiously, and endlessly. I am forever conscious of my true worth. I give of my talents freely, and I am wonderfully blessed financially. It is wonderful. Step up this way to riches. Be bold enough to claim that it is your right to be rich. Your deeper mind will honor your claim. You don't just want enough to go around. You want all the money you need to do all the things you want to do, when you want to do them. Get acquainted with the riches of your subconscious mind. When money is circulating freely in your life, you are economically healthy. Look at money like the tide, and you will always have plenty of it. The ebb and flow of the tide is constant. When the tide is out, you're absolutely sure that it will return. Knowing the laws of your subconscious mind, you will always be supplied regardless of what form money takes. One reason many people simply make ends meet and never have enough money is that they condemn money. What you condemn takes wings and flies away. Do not make a god of money. It is only a symbol. Remember that the real riches are in your mind. You are here to lead a balanced life that includes acquiring all the money you need. Don't make money your sole aim. Claim wealth, happiness, peace, true expression, and love, and personally radiate love and goodwill to all. Then your subconscious mind will give you compound interest in all these fields of expression. There is no virtue in poverty. It is a disease of the mind. You should heal yourself of this mental conflict or malady at once. You're not here to live in a hovel, to dress in rags, or to go hungry. You're here to lead the life more abundant. Never use the term filthy lucre or say I despise money. You lose what you criticize. Money in itself is neither good nor bad, but thinking of it in either light makes it so. Repeat frequently, I like money. I use it wisely, constructively, and judiciously. I release it with joy, and it returns 1,000-fold. I like that. I like money. I use it wisely, constructively, and judiciously. I release it with joy, and it returns 1,000-fold. Money is not evil any more than copper, lead, tin, or iron that you may find in the ground are. All evil is due to ignorance and misuse of the mind's powers. To picture the end result in your mind causes your subconscious to respond and fulfill your mental picture. Stop trying to get something for nothing. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You must give to receive. If you give mental attention to your goals, ideals, and enterprises, your deeper mind will back you up. The key to wealth is to apply the laws of the subconscious mind by impregnating it with the idea of wealth. All right. I'm going to stop there. It's a good place to pick up. And hey, good to see you guys. Glad you decided to join us this wonderful New Year's Eve day. Very glad to have you here with us. And I'm trying to see name-wise if there's anybody I don't recognize. I think everybody has been with us at least once. So I probably don't really have to go through telling everybody what we do, but in case somebody sees this as a recording, real quick, now is the time for you guys to share your comments, share your opinions, share your successes, share your stories in relationship to manifesting money and wealth in your life. And also it's a time for you guys to ask questions in relationship to what it is that we've been studying and or anything related to manifesting more money and wealth in your life. So this is your time, and I open it up to you to share, and just come off of mute, start sharing. If two of you come off almost the same time, we'll take the first person, and then the next person can go next, and so forth. So it's your time to share comments and ask questions. So go for it.
Good morning, Kevin. It's me, Tanya, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Hey, good morning.
Happy, everyone.
Happy New Year's to you too, and good morning to you, or afternoon, or whatever it is.
It's afternoon now, but it's a wonderful day, and we look forward to the next new year. And I really want to thank you again, Kevin, for all of the wisdom that you're imparting. It's amazing to me today that we talked about money in a bad way and how people have I don't even know how to say it. Maybe they've just learned it in a bad way. Just exactly what we talked about today. So the saying is money is the root of all evil, and it's not. And I don't know where that comes from. And I'm really training my subconscious mind to change that, right? Money is energy. We can do great things and good things for people, our family. We can share what we earn with others in a good way. And we know that abundance will also come tenfold. I mean, that's exactly what we just talked about today. So how do we keep ourselves from hearing that? Or how do we keep ourselves from that influence? Is there anything you can suggest on that? Because that seems to be something that people get tripped up on, and I don't want to ever be tripped up on that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you're welcome. Here's what I would suggest. Have a plan, and I'll kind of give you some ideas here, okay?
Yes.
Because things come to us that we don't want just by being out in the world. I mean, unless we're, the horse with the blinder thing on and we can only see that. And even then, if we turn our head wrong, I didn't want to see that, right? So we're in a world that's bombarding us with messages, and that's not going to change while we're here. Okay, I mean, society changes in what's going in and out and what the mood is and what the general thoughts are and whatnot. But since we already understand we're in an age of accountability where we have an understanding that that is what happens, then we go, okay, what I used to do, and still occasionally do, but mostly, I used to get upset about it. Well, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to see that. Blah, 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 blah. And I realized, well, I have zero control over that. All I have control over is me.
Yes.
So what do I do about it? When I say have a plan, what I mean is this. I would say, again, why we do our visualization, at least morning and night, but we do things throughout the day. You want to put in things that will help you throughout the day so that as your day goes on, you're fueled. So think kind of yourself as filling yourself up with good, so that as it gets taken out a little bit, you don't ever get your tank all the way to empty. If you feel your tank, let's say your tank is now at, you got a quarter tank left or an eighth of a tank, and you're feeling it kind of, right? The car, you're not running quite as well, then what you need to do is refill. But what you might want to do is have plans to fill your tank up multiple times a day, right? Top it off again, top it off again, top it off again. Don't let it get down to an eighth of a tank, meaning don't put yourself in a situation where you're beat upon so much by the world that you're on empty before you do something about it, and that you have to call a tow truck to get you off the road and get you back going, right? Some people will get there. That's kind of hit rock bottom, right? I need this tow truck, and I now got to be fixed. And now because I tried to run, and I got water in my gas somehow, or I poured regular into my diesel and it messed up the engine, things like that. So look, I bring that up because my son accidentally did that to one of our cars once. That was awesome. But anyhow, what I'm saying is we don't have the luxury of just sitting out in the world and allowing the world to decide what comes into our head. We have to decide. We're still going to get hit by some of this, but we usually know if we take time. We don't take the time to do it, but we know the situation we're going into is likely going to be a positive or negative experience before we actually do it. One, we could help create it to be positive in the first place. If it's interactions with people, we don't control them, but we can see them in a light the best in a person, and you do that often enough, even if they're kind of a jerk to most people, it's interesting. They might actually become nice to you. You might be the only person they're nice to, right? Why is that? Because you're the only person that gives them a chance at a subconscious level to see them as who they really are and can be versus what they're putting out there. But we also know this too. We go into entertainment, we go into this mindlessness. We know when we click on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, what we do there, whether we use it productively to stay in touch with people and share things that are positive, or whether we're doing it because we're bored or out of habit and we need to see what everybody else is saying. And we got to see if people actually liked what we said, right? Because that affects my self-esteem, which is ridiculous. But when we know that these things are happening, we know that when we go into Netflix and we watch that movie right before we go to sleep, that's a horror movie, or one that's, everybody in there is just mean to each other. And then, okay, maybe finally it ends by the person finally got their revenge. And then we go to bed without doing anything to change the direction our thoughts were going. Then we're probably not going to have the most restful, peaceful, enjoyable sleep that we can have. And we're not giving our subconscious mind something positive to work on. We're not actually giving it our goal and our dream, which is what we would do in that last 5, 10, 15 minutes, or that first 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, and then multiple times throughout the day as you can find them. It's harder to move out of the mode of what it was you were just doing if it was really intense, and then calm yourself down so that you can then go visualize and relax and impregnate into your subconscious mind what you really want. So you go, oh, okay. So you can make rules for yourself like, hey, before I go to bed, I stop watching any shows at least an hour before bed. Or what I do, if I am that person that likes some of those intense shows, I go, okay, intense shows stop at 8. From 8 to 9 o'clock, I listen to or watch something related to peace, law of attraction, or whatever. That way, when I do go to bed, I've now spent the last hour in a frame of mind that's going to help me visualize what I want. So we just make our own choices. That's why I say have a plan. I can't give you all a plan unless I work one-on-one with you based upon your life. But you can make a plan of your own, at least to say, okay, what am I going to be doing today, and what situations am I likely going to be in? Even if it's just you're all by yourself at home and got nothing to do, well, what are you going to do with that nothing to do time, right? What are you going to let your mind focus on? Are you going to let your mind do what it normally would have done? Well, that's okay, I suppose, only if what you normally do gets you the results you want. In other words, if you're getting everything you want, don't change what you're thinking about. Just stay there, right? But if you haven't received what it is that you want, then set yourself up to win, because the environment is not going to create that for you. You're going to have to create that for yourself.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it.
Uh-huh. Any other questions or comments? Quiet crowd. We haven't even stayed up all night yet.
Kevin, we're at a point in time. Well, first I should say good morning for you. It's afternoon for me.
Yeah.
We're at that point of the year where people have resolutions and they start the year with great momentum, and then for whatever reason they stop at some point. I will say I come up with goals. I stick to some, and I tend to find I stick to the ones that are easier for me, that I'm really building on a skill that I already have.
Yeah.
But I do fall short of those that I've struggled with. And can you speak to that? Because I think we all make resolutions, whatever you want to call it. We do those when we fall short. By February, March, we're taken out.
Yeah. So what I might want to do in your case, right, is think of terminology, because words only have meaning that we give to it. Society says a word means something, or our life based on our experience gives different meaning to a word, or gives more power to a word. So first of all, to most of you guys, I would quit making resolutions. That doesn't mean you don't want things to happen in your life. I would just quit making them, because your subconscious is already programmed that what a resolution is that thing that I say that I want that I don't really do anything about after about the first 1 to 3 months of the year. So by by calling something a resolution, if you frequently set resolutions and you don't actually follow through on those, don't set any more resolutions. You need a different name for things. Let's use the word goals, because for other people, goals are tough, right? Like every time I set a goal, I just haven't met. So your subconscious mind now accepts that what goal means to you is that thing that I want that I don't get. So you might not want to use the terminology of goals anymore. Maybe, I don't know. Even though the world maybe tells you goals. What you really want to do, I believe that everybody on here, what you should do to get what it is that you actually want is to pick not more than 1 to 2 things maximum at any given time that's the most important thing to you, so that you can spend the time in that visualization and process and in that, meditative process, and work on seeing yourself already living the way you'd be living if you had accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. And just do it. See, one of the things that'll happen as you set those goals, and also as you do the 300 lists that Steve Harvey suggests, is that you won't only receive those 1 or 2 things that you focus on. A lot of your life is going to change because your subconscious now says, okay, when this person now tells me that they want something, they actually go through the process necessary to acquire it. So it starts actually not giving you quite as much resistance, because it's like, uh-oh, the subconscious mind actually knows that there are some battles that we can't fight the subconscious mind with our willpower. We can fight the subconscious mind. I don't call it fighting's a bad word, because that's not what'll happen. Don't fight your subconscious mind, but you can get into your subconscious mind. Actually, the way Gandhi won his praise. Gandhi quit fighting, right? Well, don't fight your subconscious mind. Do the thing that the subconscious mind can't do anything about to stop you, which is use your imagination to visualize and impregnate on your subconscious and then into formless substance what it is you really want on a positive level. Because now all you're doing is obeying the laws of the universe. Your subconscious mind no longer battles you. It goes, okay, I agree with what you're saying now. Therefore, my job is to help you go get it. So I'm going to not only get out of your way, like I used to be in your way fighting you, I'm actually going to be your biggest advocate. Matter of fact, why don't you kick back, chill out for a little while. Let me get to work on this thing. You just keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to work on it. And then when you need guidance and direction to know what's your next step to take, God will give that to you. That's when God can go say, hey, look, I've been watching what's been going on here. I see now what your subconscious mind has accepted. I see the universe at work, formless substance, the energy of the universe, now ready and able to work in your behalf and doing things behind the scenes. So I'm going to share with you right now. I'm not going to tell you how everything unfolds, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Today, pick up the phone and call this person. You may not even know why you're calling the person, but you're going to feel this thing that says, pick up the phone and call this person. Or you're going to get the feeling, you're going to start thinking about someone or something, and that person or thing is going to show up in your life in some way, and you'll intuitively know what's your next step to go take. So I wouldn't go about setting goals the way other people think about goals any longer. And what I've learned from Bob Proctor is this about goals. He has a totally different definition than 99% of the world on goals. To him, a goal is something, the only thing you have to start to make something a goal of yours is to want it. You want to be, do, or have something. That's all you have to start. To make something a goal of yours, it only needs to be something, the only prerequisite is that you want it. Then what you do is, if that comes to you and you can create a plan right now how to get it, that's not a goal. If you know how to get it, you could actually come up with a plan, and with some assurity that if you follow a certain path, you'll get it, then that's actually not a goal. When Bob sets a goal, and that's why he only has one to two at any given time, now eventually you'll figure it out. But when he first sets a goal, it has to both excite him and scare him at the same time. It excites him because it's what he really wants. It scares him because he's never done whatever it is that he's trying to do, and he couldn't come up with any kind of logical plan to get there as of right now. The resources don't exist. The knowledge maybe isn't there. The personnel to acquire it, whatever is not there, he could not create and draw out a plan right now to say, if I follow these steps at the end of any given period of time, I should have what I want. So for him, a goal is just something that he really wants that he doesn't know how to get. But then his focus is, at that point, is on getting his subconscious mind to accept that thing so that he can then be turned through his intuition, revelation, inspiration, can receive through God the guidance and direction he needs to make his next step, while the universe is lining everybody else to make their next step in relationship to you and them receiving things they want. If you go through The Science of Getting Rich, was the first book we said, it's, hey, when you do something like this, not only is it going to be in benefit to you to receive what you want, but the universe is lining it up to benefit everybody in the chain. That's why we can't control the channels through which things come to us, because we don't know the direction that God in the universe is taking us through, because that's not our part. Our part is to clearly make up our mind what we want and to make that what it is that we feel, and we feel it as if it's already happening or been happening for a while. If I wanted to become an attorney like you have become, you know, a good idea would actually be to picture myself with the diploma. That'd be a great idea. The other thing I would do is picture myself with my office, and I would picture myself, you know, in a courtroom. What I wouldn't do if I wanted to actually succeed at that, if I didn't have the money or whatever, is try and figure out how to come up with the money. So I love the example that was given in the book, because there was something representative of them having achieved what it is they wanted, even though they had no idea how to get it. And that's where the focus needs to be until things line up for you. And, you know, your subconscious mind occasionally will battle you on something, because you'll receive the intuition or inspiration to do something. And it is going to, like Bob Proctor said, it's going to feel both uncomfortable and exciting at the same time. Exciting because you're moving towards what you want and it's coming your way. And, you know, scary because you're doing something that's uncomfortable. It's not what you're used to doing. But goal setting, in the sense of how we know it, or New Year's resolutions, I've tossed those out a long time ago.
Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything they would like to share, or questions they would like to ask? Okie dokie. Well, I will be here tomorrow, so it'll be 10 a.m. my time. So even if I stay up later, still enough time to be here with you. Hopefully you will choose to be with us tomorrow also. And just want to wish everybody a happy New Year's Eve, and be safe.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you,
guys.
Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, and Happy New Year in advance to everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody.
New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.